The Coinsaurus channel is pleased to have you back. I won't be vanishing for important business anymore. Instead, I'll be back to my regular schedule today, creating content that you all find useful and informative. Find out what Grayscale CEO Michael Sun thinks about the spot Bitcoin ETF, how ETH could affect XRP prices, and more in this video. A market overview will be provided later on. It is time to start. When it comes to ETH effects, an Ethereum insider, everyone with XRP in their possession ought to be worried about it. Ethereum advisor Steven Narioff has cautioned XRP holders to be on the lookout for ETH and the consequences of the now famous hypothesis on the cryptocurrency's value. It is Steven Narioff. The importance of ETH to the XRP community has been emphasized by an early advisor to the Ethereum Foundation. This was reported yesterday by the prominent crypto advisor in a communication with a pseudonymous XRP holder named XRP Kernchild Narioff Suez StormX co-founder. In his most recent tweet, Narioff said that he had sued Simon Yu, CEO of StormX, and Ari Yu, co-founder of the US Blockchain Coalition. He claimed that the two individuals collaborated with the authorities and made false accusations, which led to his indictment in 2019. According to longtime ETH commenter Narioff, Simon and Aries recently tried to blackmail him by giving them tokens worth millions of dollars that he claimed they had stolen. The crypto advisor has admitted that he has evidence, including recordings, that Simon and Ari attempted to bribe him with tokens. Explanation of the significance of Ethereum's gate for XRP holders. Looking at the development, if you ask the current XRP guy, the XRP community could care less about Ethereum. According to the EX user, Ripple must resolve its disagreement with the SEC in order to lay the stage for a potential increase in XRP price. Further, the present XRP person has expressed his discontent with the price of XRP, suggesting that it is presently stuck around the 0.6 level. In response to Nari's essay, two important facts were raised that illustrate why XRP enthusiasts ought to be worried about ETH. The so-called ETH theory, according to Nari, is the primary cause of XRP's continued trade at approximately 0.6. Continuing, the former Ethereum advisor said that XRP holders who value a free society ought to be concerned about corruption beyond their tokens. Many people in the cryptocurrency business have taken an interest in the ETH controversy and its underlying theory, which has been ongoing for quite some time. Those who put up the theory said that Ethereum's developers worked along with influential SEC officials to have regulations stacked in favor of Ethereum and against other digital assets. Some have hypothesized that this link is what prompted former SEC Director William Hinman to label Bitcoin and Ethereum as non-security in 2018. According to Hinman, the term security is no longer applicable to ETH because of its adequately distributed growth over time. Narioff and other crypto enthusiasts argued that Ethereum's 2014 ICO showed less decentralization compared to other digital asset ICOs. Lane Rettig, who was involved in developing the Ethereum core in the past, has stated that 70% of the ETH supply was allocated during the pre-mine stage, which supports this claim. He claims that the sales were the driving force behind the relatively limited number of individuals that purchased a substantial quantity of pre-mined Ethereum. Up until today, no one has ever identified the whales responsible for scavenging the vast amounts of pre-mined ETH. There have always been conspiracy theories around cryptocurrency, just as there have been in every other industry. But how exactly this concept could affect the XRP price remains a mystery to me. Seems like someone sold a theory to the SEC officials. How long would it take for them to choke Ripple if we began paying them on a regular basis? Finds to be weird and without merit? I understand Gensler's motivations for endorsing Ripple and the other firms, but is he involved in any form of manipulation with Ethereum? Why, exactly? Personally, I think not. Given that Gensler was not chairman throughout the time that Ethereum and Bitcoin were determined not to be securities, it appears impossible to pay one, then another, and a third. Is that something that everyone can get behind? Please provide feedback so that we can proceed. The chief executive officer of Grayscale asserts that if spot Bitcoin ETFs were to be introduced, $30 trillion in recommended wealth would be made available. If a spot Bitcoin ETF is approved, an estimated $30 trillion in recommended wealth would pour into the Bitcoin market, says Grayscale CEO Michael Sonnenschein. This observation was made by the interviewee during a recent appearance on CNBC when asked about the potential effects of approvals for spot Bitcoin ETFs on the cryptocurrency market. Here's a clip from an interview that aired on CNBC. As we ring in the new year and assess the state of the cryptocurrency industry, we are joined by Michael Sonnenschein, CEO of Grayscale. A crypto super PAC is helping us reach our objectives. Maybe this is. That could be the deciding factor that gets Congress to act. Yes, Michael, you play a role in this. It was formally announced just this morning. Over the last year, we at Grayscale have devoted many hours to lobbying on Capitol Hill to protect investor rights and equip regulators with the information they need to handle Bitcoin. As a result, we have centered our efforts on education. The easy gains are in, and many people still don't get Bitcoin, which rose from $25 to about $45 at one point, but now it's $41,000 and even gold was attempting to break $2,100. Additionally, it failed miserably in its endeavor. Key points and interest rates were at the heart of it all. Since many are expecting the Fed to cut rates next year, when will it turn back to a spot ETF in the UAE? Should we move it? It is my assumption that the price increase of Bitcoin this year has been influenced by both macro and micro influences. From a macro perspective, I concur that Bitcoin is being seen by investors as a potential protection against inflation and rising interest rates. However, in terms of micro, I think that investors' hope for GBTC and its future as a spot Bitcoin ETF was granted earlier this summer when my team won in court. Going into the new year, the financial sector is talking a lot about anything from $65,000 to $100,000, but I don't know what you expect. Do you not consider it an asset, if that is the word you prefer, at this point? On what day does it happen? Will it take you to new heights? So, it was as much as 17,000 lower than last year, right? Thanks to the move we witnessed, it's almost as if we've paid it forward. Sure thing. When it comes to pricing, I'd rather not make educated guesses, Joe. However, I think market sentiment is really positive, and a lot of investors are thinking about adding Bitcoin to their portfolio. As time goes on, it becomes clear that some investors will finally be able to take advantage of the chance to diversify their portfolios with Bitcoin exposure thanks to the possible approval of spot Bitcoin ETFs. Personally, I think this is a bad thing. With an estimated $30 trillion in advised wealth, the US advised market is our main focus. With the uplisting of GBTC and the introduction of spot Bitcoin ETFs, we hope that investors will have the opportunity to participate in this market. The potential $30 trillion influx into cryptocurrencies has been discussed. While the host refrained from offering concrete Bitcoin price forecasts during the conversation, he did ask Grayscale's CEO to share his thoughts on the cryptocurrency's potential future in the case that a US regulator greenlights a Bitcoin spot ETF. As Bitcoin continues to gain popularity among investors, Sonnenschein highlighted the current market frenzy. More specifically, he said that some investors might be able to take advantage of chances that come up when spot Bitcoin ETFs are legalized. He assumes that these people are wealthy financiers who have been wrongfully barred from participating in the Bitcoin market. Sonnenschein has stated his expectation that a substantial portion of the $30 trillion money held by the US guided market will be invested in the cryptocurrency market. He described the global and micro dynamics driving Bitcoin, and we hope that these investors will have the chance to participate in them by approving and listing spot Bitcoin ETFs. When asked about his thoughts on Bitcoin's recent rise, Sonnenschein acknowledged that the cryptocurrency's outstanding success this year is due to a combination of macro and micro forces. Regarding the macro front, his key points were rising rates and inflationary pressures. According to him, this is the reason why Bitcoin is now considered a store of wealth as well as a hedge by investors. In terms of the micro front, he highlighted the hope that investors had after the Grayscale's team's court triumph over the US regulator. A spot Bitcoin ETF, which would increase Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, is now within the realm of possibility thanks to the court's judgment. Finally, the presentation's interwoven remarks show how spot Bitcoin ETF approvals can bring a huge influx of recommended money. That is the truth, folks. We are now ready to move on to. According to market analysis, Bitcoin's price has been difficult to stay over 44,000. The small shelf of volumes is now acting as resistance, and it eventually returned to the imbalance zone. Since there have been 2 touches thus far, it is reasonable to expect that it will not last much longer. But the question remains, will sellers push the price lower or will purchasers push it higher? An immediate reversal does not seem to be possible. After a few more fixes, it will probably go back to waiting mode, in my view. However, certain cryptocurrencies reacted favorably to the news, and dominance fell to 53%. All of a sudden, our beloved XRP has failed. The process of getting it up is also temporarily halted. We need to consolidate anything above 0.6204. However, Bitcoin is not planning to grow just now. After all, it appears that there isn't anything to complain about. Permit me to elaborate. Observe the levels and prices of Bitcoin closely. Tomorrow, there will be no more news. If you hold off until the highs arrive before diving in, everything will work out perfectly. You guys must have had a blast. Do me a favor and subscribe to my channel. Goodbye for now.